Chinese officials want to engage the nation's citizens in counter-espionage efforts. The nation's state security ministry says a system needs to be in place to normalize anti-spying work among civilians. Earlier this year, Beijing updated its anti-espionage legislation by broadening the definition of spying. CBS News intelligence and national security reporter Olivia Gazis joins us now to speak about that. Olivia, we had referenced this before as something like see something, say something, but Chinese officials basically want citizens to be able to spy on each other. Tell us about what this means for journalists and citizens and why they're doing that now.
Absolutely, Errol. I mean, it is a lot more than see something, say something, but that's a good comparison because what was notable about this latest appeal is that it's coming from this Ministry of State Security, which is a very powerful and highly secretive intelligence agency in China that basically functions like our equivalent of the FBI and CIA combined. So a joint foreign and domestic intelligence gathering and counterintelligence function. And this agency, which hasn't had so much as a public-facing website before, took to WeChat, a very popular social media channel with over 1 billion users, to tell Chinese citizens that they would be as commended and rewarded for essentially snooping and reporting on each other. And that's concerning against this backdrop of this law that you mentioned, which has made very, very vague what kinds of things are considered essential to Chinese national security interests and therefore could be a crime for discussing or disseminating. So that law had already heightened concern among U.S. officials about the risk of the arbitrary detention of anyone, but particularly people who are dealing in interesting stuff, students, business people, researchers in China. We know that there are already 4 known wrongful detainees in China that the U.S. has been working without success to free. And pronouncements like these are only heightening the concern that more could be taken as a result.
It's so scary to hear about these kinds of things. Yeah. Given all of these changes that Beijing is making to tighten state security, where does the U.S. stand on engagement with China?
Sure. Well, I mean, for months now, the Biden administration has been painstakingly working to reestablish those channels that effectively went dormant in the aftermath of the surveillance balloon that everybody remembers that crossed the United States to a considerable outcry in February. And since then, there have been these incrementally higher-level engagements. The CIA director went to Beijing to establish a direct intelligence channel with his counterpart, and culminating in the Secretary of State's visit to Beijing and meeting with President Xi in June. All of that is building towards, it's thought, a presidential-level meeting this coming fall. And what the Biden administration has argued is that even though there are these known risks to the people, to Americans and American interests by the PRC, that our two economies are way too interconnected and too much global stability depends on how Washington and Beijing manage this relationship for them to fail. There are still concerns, though, about how much even this dialogue on like ancillary issues like student exchanges or fentanyl, which has been a priority, are really changing the fundamentally problematic aspects of the relationship, or whether it's just kind of futzing at the margins.
Olivia, you're so well connected in the national security space. I mean, I think the last time we worked on a story together was at the Spy Museum in D.C. ages ago. And for the layman, meaning myself, talk to us about the increased sophistication of China's spying and espionage efforts versus what the U.S. can do? Because I think it's so interesting when you talk about how each side really does this stuff.
Absolutely, and that was a great piece on the Spy Museum, Errol.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So, I mean, national security officials here have been warning for years about the depth and the breadth of Chinese espionage, whether that's recruiting human spies, which we hear about, electronic surveillance from, for example, listening stations in Cuba, which we've heard about, election interference, and even kind of influence peddling on TikTok, which has been a concern. Now they're also warning about the increasing sophistication of these efforts, and in particular in the cyber domain. So when I recently spoke with some leadership from the NSA, the National Security Agency here about this, they said that these cyber intrusions we're seeing by China used to be kind of loud and messy. They left a lot of traces, but increasingly today they're neater, they're quieter, and there's more of a mysterious intention behind them. So not only is it harder to detect some of this malware that we've learned that China has implanted in U.S. military networks in Guam, it's hard to understand why it's there in the first place. I mean, is it to hamper a U.S. response to a potential invasion of Taiwan? or could it be deployed for a more destructive offensive purpose? There's a lot of head scratching going on about things like that.
Yeah. Well, we've covered a lot of ground. Olivia, we thank you for that.
Thanks, Olivia.
Thank you so much.